TV series called 7th Street Theater.
It's different. It's not necessarily
And providentially on.
It's also this year, just like you.
Hi, this is Cheryl Ariaz Wicker with Christian Movie Connect, and we are with Dan Parris and Dave Peterka. And you are a filmmaker with an exciting new film, and then you also play in it and work as an associate producer. So tell us about your new film.
So our film is called What Matters. It's a feature-length documentary, 90 minutes. It premiered at the Heartland Film Festival. But basically, it's about me, this guy, and our atheist friend trying to live in extreme poverty across 15 countries. So we took off from St. Louis. We stayed in abandoned buildings, homeless shelters, cornfields, interviewed people at the United Nations, and then made our way to Africa. And the whole time trying to see what it's like to live in extreme poverty and make a film that would challenge the next generation to do something about injustice and extreme poverty.
Okay, so it's more of a documentary type film?
Yes, it's all true. It's a documentary. We actually did this. It's actually happened. And it's a really great film. We travel across the country showing it at colleges, and we're looking to get it out there to the wider world.
Okay. So tell me why you wanted to be involved in this project.
Yeah, I was in my first year of college and just kind of had, my life laid out ahead of me. And Dan asked me if I'd be willing to join it and be a part of it. And for me, I went to a Christian college and grew up in the church, but I was reading Jesus' teachings that talked about how those who follow him do radical things like sell everything they have and give it to the poor. And I was like, I've never done anything radical like Jesus calls, those who follow him to do. And so I actually kind of saw this as an opportunity to kind of be worthy of the title Christian almost. So I was like, yeah, I'll totally do that. Dropped out of school. I took, a year and a half off from school and worked on this project.
So personally, what do you think was one of the most important things that you learned from being a part of the project?
I think going into the project, I was kind of that guy. I had met people living on $1 a day, and then I went home and I'm drinking $4 coffees at Starbucks. I'm like, how are these two worlds living like that? And what is my role? This is such an overwhelming issue to do something about this. But over the process, people be like, well, why aren't you doing something about American poverty? Why are you fighting Africa? And everybody would have an issue with what we were doing. And we kind of came to this idea that maybe people should figure out what breaks their heart. Like, what is the main issue? They're like, that should not be this way in this world. And then what makes them come alive? What do they love doing? For me, it's filmmaking. So this film was picking what broke my heart, what made me come alive, and putting them together. And I think that's what people should do is they're thinking about making a difference in the world. Don't try to do everything all at once or get apathetic and not do anything at all, but answer those two questions. And I think that's where you'll find your purpose.
Yeah, so true, so true. So what about the experience surprised you that maybe you were like, whoa, I didn't really bargain for this?
I would definitely say, going to Africa, I thought kind of as an American, I had this hero complex or this savior complex. And so I thought that I would be needed in a sense and I could go and fix all their problems because of, the influence that I had or the education that I had or the money that I had. And I actually met a lot of people living in extreme poverty themselves that were doing way more than I could have ever dreamed possible to help other people living in extreme poverty. And it really humbled me a lot and showed me that I'm not, the savior that they need. And I felt like I'd learned more and gained more from the way that they invited me into their interconnected community and the way that they loved me. I felt like, they almost had more to offer in terms of what the priorities of humanity are meant to be than I could have offered to them.
Great. So what are you hoping that people will take away from this film when they have a chance to see it?
Definitely like that, what I mentioned, that idea of the two questions. That was what I learned and what I decided, this is the message of the film. So I would say that's the main thing. Ask yourself, what breaks your heart? What makes you come alive? And figure out a way to put those two things together is hopefully the message. And I think, that making a difference in the world is really the best way to live. And it's better to give than it is to receive, as someone we know well said.
Okay, great. So if someone wants to find out more about the movie, where do they go?
They go to whatmattersfilm.com.
Okay. So we will be looking for that. Is it coming out on DVD?
It's supposed to be coming out on iTunes in April and video on demand, eventually Netflix potentially. But we'll be releasing the film on our website as well in April. So whatmattersfilm.com and get a DVD, all that type of stuff. And we're always open to coming and speaking and showing screenings at colleges, churches, that kind of thing. So they can go to the movie2movement.com website and they can actually book us to come to their church as well.
Great. Well, I love meeting passionate young people who are really trying to make a difference in the world. So I pray that you continue to use your life in such a way. So thanks for being with us. Okay. And thank you for joining us on Christian Movie Connect. This is Cheryl Ariaz Wicker. Have a good day. you.